So, in honor of Creed 2 coming out, I figured I'd go back and watch the original Creed and do a review for it. So, here I am. This is going to be a full spoiler review, so if you have not seen the original Creed, please go back and watch it. It's a really good movie. I highly recommend it. So, now that you've been warned, here we go. The main premise of Creed is that Adonis, the son of Apollo Creed, known to most people within this universe as the best boxer of all time. He is trying to make a name for himself without, using the name Creed. He's going by the name Johnson at first, which is his mother's name. And we actually first meet him as a little kid in juvie, and he's fighting someone. So you already know right away that Adonis Creed was meant to fight. And you fast forward a little while, and he's fighting professionally in Mexico, and he's winning easily. I mean, it's honestly not even like it's kind of a joke at this point. It really seems like, and he also has a regular job, which is a little bit surprising. You wouldn't have guessed that, and he's actually doing quite well. And he actually gets a promotion, but right after he gets that promotion, he decides to quit. He's like, this isn't for me. I am not meant to be a corporate, worker. I am meant to be a boxer. I've always been a boxer. I've always wanted to box, and that's what I'm supposed to do. And his not his mother, but it was Apollo's wife. She has taken him in, and he's been living with her, and she's like, I really don't want you to do this. Don't you know what it was like for me to have to take care of your father all the time? It was not fun. Do you really want this brain damage? Do you want this to be your life? And he's like, yes, I have to do it. This is what I've always wanted to do. So he seeks out Rocky. And I got to talk about Rocky. I got to talk about Sylvester Stallone's performance here because it is amazing. This is by far his best performance as Rocky Balboa. And he got a Best Supporting Actor nomination for it, which is huge. He didn't win. A lot of people think he should have, including me. But yeah, amazing performance by Sylvester Stallone because he is playing a very broken Rocky Balboa. He's lost everyone that he cares about, everyone that he knew in his past life. Adrian, Paulie, Mickey, Apollo. It's literally everyone. So, and he hasn't even talked to Apollo's wife since the funeral. That's what Adonis says. And Adonis comes along, and Rocky, all of a sudden, kind of has something new to live for. He's got another, like, Adonis breathes fresh life into Rocky, and now he's got something else to do. A reason to not let life get him down. And that's interesting because he actually gets cancer. Rocky gets cancer in this movie, and he's at a point where he's like, I don't know if I'm gonna bother doing the whole treatment thing. I might just let it take its course, and whatever happens is what happens. But then, Adonis is like, wait a minute, dude, what about me? I mean, I came all this way for you. I want you to be my trainer. I want you in my corner. I want you, helping me out in life and being kind of a father figure that he is. Why are you trying to leave me right now? And why are you not acting like this is important? And that really knocks some sense into Rocky. He's like, I do care about this kid. And I do have to be around for him. If he's going to fight, I'm going to fight. So I'm going to do the treatment, which is awesome. He does the treatment because Adonis convinces him. He's like, you know what? We're in this together. I'm fighting in the ring, and you're fighting in the doctor's office or the hospital. And, Mike, Adonis actually also meets a love interest played by Tessa Thompson. Her name is Bianca. And she is also a really cool character. She is losing her hearing slowly. She's got progressive hearing disease, I think it is, which is basically her hearing is slowly declining until eventually it's completely gone and she will be deaf. So she already has some hearing aids in, and she's very passionate about music. She's doing her music, making it, and performing all the time, and she realizes that I can't do this forever, so I'm going to do what I love now and keep doing it until I can't anymore, which is kind of similar to what Adonis is doing with boxing. He realized that, I'm in the prime of my life, so I got to do what I've always been meant to do, and that's box. And Michael B. Jordan also gives a very good performance in this movie. He is one of the rising stars in Hollywood for a reason. I mean, I don't know if rising is even correct. I mean, he's risen for sure. He's one of the top young stars in Hollywood right now. And he gives a great performance as Adonis here, a guy who's kind of resentful of his father and the fact that he wasn't around, despite the fact that he died in the ring, which was beyond his control. And he eventually comes to realize that, he died doing what he loved. And maybe that's actually what he would have always wanted. So I'm going to continue his legacy, and I'm going to do what I love and what he would have wanted, probably not have wanted him to do, but secretly, he would have been proud of it. And that's box. And he's going to keep boxing until he can't anymore, just like Bianca is going to keep doing music until she can't anymore. This movie hits a lot of emotional beats because when Rocky finds out that he has cancer, and then Adonis finds out, they get in a bit of an argument. They have a bit of a falling out for a while. And like a father-son relationship, like real fathers and sons do, they've eventually patched it up. And the whole thing that went on there was acted very well. Actually, in one of the scenes after they had a bit of a fight and they both said some things that they shouldn't have, Adonis actually starts crying a little bit. And that was, wow. I mean, that scene right there is what sold me. I mean, if I wasn't already convinced that Michael B. Jordan is one of the best actors, today, that proved it. And this was back in 2015. So he hadn't even done Black Panther yet or Creed 2 yet. So we were just now realizing, damn, this guy is for real. And he's going to do big things, and that's exactly what ended up happening. So Adonis wins his first fight against actually the number 4 ranked guy. He knocks him out in the second round. Excuse me. And at first we were thinking, this isn't going to be the main fight of the movie, is it? No, it wasn't. Because he actually ends up getting a title shot against pretty Ricky Conlon. And it's not exactly a good thing that I can't remember his name. Because I'm not going to lie to you, this character is not great. He's not a very good villain. He's not even in it very much. He's just really cliched guy that, is a badass and wants to punch you in the face, and that's pretty much about it. I mean, there's not much to him. I always like when villains are a little more fleshed out and we get to see a little bit more from them, but that's not really what this movie was about. It was about the relationship between, Adonis and Rocky, and that's the thing that it did very well. Some of the story beats in this movie are also quite familiar. You got the guy who's up and coming and gets a shot at the title, Adonis in this one, it was Rocky in Rocky 1, and loses by split decision, which was also what happened in Rocky 1. Seems a little bit too coincidental that both of them would lose by split decision the very first time they get a shot at a title. But, it's not something that bothers me that much. It's probably better than having him win. Honestly, I feel like that would have been a little too cheesy, and this movie is very light on the cheese, which I like. It's gritty, it's realistic. Oh, especially the choreography, the boxing itself is by far the most realistic boxing scenes we've had in the entire Rocky franchise. It's not even close. I mean, you feel like it's a real boxing match. There's no over the top punching sounds. The guys actually protect themselves. They actually dodge some punches, and they don't get hit in the face 1,000 fucking times throughout the fight. Yeah, I'm looking at you, Rocky 4. I mean, come on. I love that movie. Some people say the movie ended communism. That could be true, but you got to admit it's totally ridiculous and cheesy. And this movie really gets away from that cheese of most of the Rocky franchise, which I really like. Um, it has to be. I think being grounded is a really good thing here, and there's real announcers. Actually, Max Kellerman is one of the announcers on it. So yeah, he's a real boxing commentator. So that they really tried hard to get the realness of this world, and especially of this fight, the end fight between Adonis and Pretty Ricky Conlan, which was overall a really good fight. And like I said before, Adonis loses by split decision, which is pretty much what we expected. Because it's, like I said, the story beats are very, very similar to Rocky 1. But, they're kind of all like that. Rocky doesn't necessarily do a ton of new things. And at this point in the franchise, it's bound to happen that they're going to continue some beats, and some of the plot points are going to be very familiar, and there isn't really much that's surprising that happens in this movie. Except I don't know if we are necessarily expecting Rocky to get cancer, and I don't know if anyone really expected him to die at that point in this movie. I didn't. And I'm glad that they didn't do that, because we need a little bit more of him, because Sylvester Stallone is amazing. And Creed 2 is going to feature him as well, so I'm really looking forward to that. So overall, yes, this movie has some familiar story beats, and yes, the villain is very cliche and is hardly even in the movie and is pretty weak. You still got fantastic performances all around. You got some very emotional moments. You got extremely realistic fight scenes. You got some great directing by Ryan Coogler. I can't believe I haven't said anything about him yet. Ryan Coogler, you're great. Keep doing what you're doing. And just, this movie is it's probably the best of the entire Rocky series. Yeah, I said it. It's got the most going for it. It's got the least amount of, corniness probably. And this world feels very lived in, as much as it ever has been, and Sylvester Stallone is at his very best. So as far as a rating goes, I'm going to go with an 8 out of 10 for Creed. Guys, if you enjoyed this video, please make sure to hit that thumbs up button, and if you want to keep seeing my content, please consider subscribing, and I'll see you next time.